Happy Saturday, foodie friends, grain-free VIPs. Welcome to today's Slice of the Grain-Free Lifestyle episode. My name is Nina Blake. I'm the Grain-Free Lifestyle Coach. I help families avoid grains and allergens without sacrificing flavor and variety so that they can enjoy meals together and live their best lives. Your journey to a delicious grain-free lifestyle of your dreams starts now. Welcome! I am so excited to be here with you. Today's topic is, how can I add flavor to my grain-free lifestyle without grains sneaking in? I love that you picked this topic because you are not going to have to sacrifice flavor just to get hidden grains. You won't have to deal with hidden grains just to have flavor. We can avoid grains and allergens and still have food that tastes like food, looks like food, and has the right texture. Okay, before I get ahead of myself, I want to say hello. Thank you all for being here live with me. As you're being notified, would you please say hello in the comments? I'm coming to you live from Oakdale, Connecticut, and if you are catching this on replay, please use #replay. And for our viewers who are catching this on YouTube, I hope you'll join us in Grain-Free Lifestyle and Support Community on Facebook. Okay, so today's topic is, how can I add flavor and variety to my grain-free menu without hidden grains sneaking in everywhere? You know, hidden grains are sneaky, right? They end up in our cold cuts. They end up in our seasonings. They end up in our gluten-free foods, right? They end up in anything that is prepared. So, how do we do it? Okay, in today's Slice of the Grain-Free Lifestyle episode, we are going to go over 3 things that you can do to avoid grains and allergens without those hidden grains sneaking in everywhere. The first one is salt your food appropriately. The second one is learn to balance flavors. And the third is, let me pause for a minute, learn the techniques that you need, right, to transform grain-free, allergy-friendly ingredients so that they have the flavor, appearance, and texture of the foods and flavors that you're going for. And I know that last one is kind of complicated, but that's what we're here for. So let me break it down for you. Salting your food appropriately sounds very simple. So let's start with the basics. When a recipe says 1 teaspoon of salt, you add the whole teaspoon of salt. And if you're thinking, well, grandma is going light on her sodium, I don't know if we should. Please always, always, always consult your doctor. But I want to talk to you about the role of salt in food, because salt brings out flavor. It adds essential nutrients. It's a flavor enhancer. How does it enhance flavor? Well, the most common way is in baking, right? Why would we add salt to a baked good? Because it actually brings out the sweetness. If you've ever made chocolate chip cookies and forgotten the salt, they don't taste as sweet. So salting your food appropriately is going to bring out the flavors that are already there. And of course, you're going to want to use a non-iodized type of salt. Why? Because table salt contains iodine, and they use a hidden grain. Yep, they use dextrose, corn sugar, to bond the iodine to the calcium chloride. So make sure you are not using table salt. Salt is a flavor enhancer. You may not be aware that the timing of when we add salt to our recipe is absolutely vital. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine and her mother were trying to make Auntie Josephine's soup after Auntie Josephine had passed. And they were arguing about the recipe because Auntie Josephine just left a list of ingredients. And her mom put them in the order that they were listed. That's what we do, right? Use and eat ingredients in the order. Well, guess what? My friend had said, no, 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 I made this soup with Auntie and she put the salt in first. What was the problem? Salt first, salt last. My friend was saying that the vegetables got mushy the way her mother made the soup. Her mother must have made the soup wrong. What's the science behind it? By adding the salt first to the broth, when the vegetables went in, the vegetables got bloated with the salt and didn't become as mushy. Cool, right? So salt your foods appropriately. If you are looking for more cool information, I highly recommend Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. It's the best book I've ever found on salting food. And for lay people who've never worked in restaurant kitchens, fabulous. Lots of quick anecdotes explaining how salt works in food. The next one is balancing flavors. What do I mean balancing flavors? I want you to think for a minute of a pork chop and a sausage. While they both start out coming from the same animal, they don't taste at all alike, do they? Right? Because that sausage is seasoned in a way that you could never think that it came from the same animal, right? And we'll talk more about techniques and equipment, but just for a minute, it's the same meat, doesn't taste at all alike because the flavors are balanced. Let's think of another example, a lemon. If you take that lemon, you put it in tea, just one slice, you're gonna get a little bit of lemony flavor. Cool, right? I'm actually drinking lemon tea right now. If you take that lemon and you juice it and you zest it and you put it all into a pitcher of water with no sugar, nobody's gonna drink it. But if you add a little bit of sugar, suddenly you've got lemonade and you've got that beautiful balance of sweet and sour that you can drink all summer long. That's what I mean when I say balancing your flavors. Another example of balancing flavors. In my bacon ranch pasta. It's amazing, wonderful weeknight meal. Uses sour cream, homemade, grain-free sour cream, dairy-free sour cream. It uses cauliflower, right? Except you can't taste the cauliflower. Why? Because the coconut, the cauliflower, the parsley, the onion, the garlic, they cancel each other out. And suddenly, all you're tasting is the wonderful creamy ranch sauce. And you're going, are you serious? This isn't dairy? How can this not be dairy? Now, most of us, we're good on salt, but balancing flavors, some of us dabble in it. What's another part of balancing flavors? How about making it so that your recipes don't look or taste at all like coconut? I know, right? Like coconut is great when you want coconut, but if we're looking to make a dairy-free cheese, right? And let me just review my allergy list with you. These are the ingredients that I have to avoid. I avoid apples, almonds, bananas, beef, blueberries, cassava, corn, dairy, eggs, soy, corn, apples, almonds, beef, blueberries, cassava, corn, dairy, eggs, all grains, peas, pork, potatoes, soy, pineapple, orange, benzoic acid. And so it's a big list, right? It's a big list. And I can still get cheese with the appearance, flavor, and texture. So it's nice and stretchy, right? So you get that wonderful when you bite the pizza and it just tastes right. That's what I'm talking about. And of course, I've hopped right into the next category because it's the one that I'm most passionate about. You've heard me say everybody deserves pizza and cake on their birthday. Nobody should miss out because of allergens. Now, I'm not suggesting that you have a cake that's a 1/4 inch thick. I'm suggesting that you have a piece of cake that looks like cake and tastes like cake. And I want to take a quick sec to show you. This is my lectin-free bread. I'm going to be teaching this course in April. Oh, and I'm actually going to be making another loaf of this today. So this is my very last slice. I saved it to share with you. These little air pockets here are called the crumb. Now, what's everybody's biggest complaint about grain-free bread? It's too heavy. Well, when we learn to develop this crumb and adjust it according to our liking, that is a technique that we can use to give our foods the texture, the flavor, and the look that we're going for while still using grain-free ingredients. This bread, are you ready for what's not in it? There's no gluten, there's no grain, there's no dairy, there's no egg, there's no soy, no corn, no almond, no cashew, no peanut, no sesame, no nightshade, no yeast, and there's no lectin in this. Now, I know that's a big mouthful. I want to get back to talking about the food because the third option is learning techniques to transform your grain-free, allergy-friendly ingredients into the foods that you are dreaming of. Okay, you know I love my chocolate chip cookie bars. So at the end of the week, this is kind of all that's left, a slice of bread and the chocolate chip cookie bars. So I show them a lot because I enjoy them and I'll be cooking tonight. So let's think for a minute. Now, both of these are made with the exact same flour blend. How do we do that? We have to use different techniques for each one, right? Now, obviously, the cookie bars, we want them a little more dense. We want them soft. We want them moist. We don't want moist bread. We want a fluffy bread with lots of air pockets. And that's what I mean when I say techniques. They start with the same flour blend, and they almost use exactly the same ingredients with the exception of sugar, vanilla, and chocolate chips. Almost the exact same ingredients. Sugar, vanilla, coconut oil, chocolate chips. They're very, very similar. So the reason I bring this up is because it's the techniques that we use that changes the recipe. The technique that will give this slice of lectin-free bread these nice air pockets and make it soft, while giving this nice chocolate chip cookie bar a more dense texture, still moist, right? And its sweetness. And so this is what I teach in my coaching courses and my cooking classes. And so in March, I taught chocolate chip cookie bars. And in April, I'm going to be teaching my lectin-free bread. And so if you would like to know more about this, why don't we hop on a call so that I can tell you more about this amazing opportunity. I'm thankful that you're giving me your time. It's the weekend and I want to give you a little gift back. So let's hop on a call so I can tell you more about these recipes and we'll see if we are a good fit to work together. So let's just go over the 3 tips that I've shared with you today. The first one is to salt your food appropriately. That is going to bring out the flavors. And by the way, when your food is salted appropriately, I'm going to say that you will probably be consuming less salt because you're going to be able to take the salt shaker off the table and enjoy food with an appropriate amount of salt, okay? Salt, fat, acid, heat also teaches you the differences about when to salt your food and how that will change the flavor. The second one is balancing flavors like we do in the bacon ranch pasta, where we are blending the flavors of cauliflower, coconut, garlic, onion, and it doesn't taste like any of them. It tastes like dairy. Neutralizing that coconut flavor hops us over into technique because neutralizing coconut flavor is a technique that we use to give dairy-free ingredients the flavor of dairy-based. Same thing with stretch. Dairy-based cheeses, they have to have a stretch. And when you buy those dairy-free cheeses in the store, it's kind of like you're shaking sawdust. Well, we don't want that. We want the right stretch in our cheese. And so that's a technique that I teach. I actually taught that technique in my white pizza class, and you can find that in my cooking class library. So technique. Technique is what we use to get the beautiful air pockets in a piece of grain-free bread, yeast-free too. It's also how we get the exact same flour mixture to work in both recipes. So I hope that you found some helpful information here. It's been a pleasure working with you. I look forward to seeing your name on my calendar so I can teach you more about these amazing techniques. Happy Saturday, and thank you so much for being live with me. I believe in you. The possibilities are endless when you break a recipe.